Hello everybody, Angels here, and welcome back to Mahonare Episode 2, The Stories of Girls Who Couldn't Be Magicians. One hell of an isekai title for a show that isn't an isekai, isn't it? I'm recording this intro the second time because I've been talking for 15 minutes already, but then I noticed my mic is not plugged in. So it was just 15 minutes of me wildly gesticulating and talking and flailing my mouth with absolutely no sound. Great. What did I even talk about during that intro? First of all, what I learned from you guys in the comments, that apparently this is a fairly loose adaptation of the novels. It's not like one-to-one, but rather it takes the characters from the novels, it takes the world from the novels, but kind of shuffles around the events, introduces some original events, basically kind of sort of like a fan fiction, like an alternate reality kind of fan fiction, to my understanding at least. Apparently in the light novels, Yuzu is not a deuteragonist, or second protagonist, however you pronounce it, to Kurumi, but rather has a much smaller role. Apparently Kurumi doesn't meet Shiny Chariot at the very beginning. That's anime original, and I'm gonna call her Shiny Chariot because that's who she is, and we don't know her name. We can suspect that she's probably Minami Sensei, but we don't know that for sure, so Shiny Chariot it is. And some other differences. Pokédexes, I believe, are also something anime original, so it's gonna be interesting how it goes. On one hand, it's very... I'm not gonna say very worrying. No, absolutely not. It would be worrying if it was a fucking Netflix adaptation, right? We know how Netflix takes a book and makes an adaptation of the book, and the adaptation basically has a couple of characters and some of the word and the name, but other than that, it's just purely fucking original content that most often just plain sucks. And this doesn't seem to be the case here, so I'm not really worried. But I'm interested, I'm curious. First of all, curious about the choice, right? Why did they go with this decision, with not a one-to-one adaptation, but rather with more of an inspiration? And second of all, I'm curious about where it's gonna go. Is it gonna go still in the direction that the novels went, or is it gonna veer into some different direction? We'll see. It's not a bad thing, though, necessarily, that it's a bit more of an original show, because that means I don't really risk running into spoilers, which is, hey, very good, if you ask me. Anything else? I think that does it for the housekeeping. Let's talk about the previous episode, how it started. It started with Kurumi Mirai living with her grandmother. I assume grandmother. She looked kind of too old to be her mother, but who knows? In some sort of a cottage in a countryside. Kurumi was very much excited about seeing some sort of a asteroid or something like that that comes only every 100 years around Earth, so literally once in a lifetime occurrence. She even drew on a sheet of paper and with a pen, well, ballpoint pen, not a ballpoint pen, like ink. I have an ink pen somewhere. I'm not gonna look it just for the bit. She drew a nice magical circle to hopefully ward off bad weather. Unfortunately, it did not seem to have worked. There were, sparkles and glow and whatnot, but it still rained that night. So she was very sad going to bed, but what is that? She noticed lights and sparkles off in the distance. She ran out from home, and there she met Shiny Chariot casting her magic. She had a wand that turned into a fountain pen with which she drew or the other way around, I think. Fountain pen turned into wand, with which she drew a huge, complex magical circle in the sky, launched a magic beam, scattered the clouds, and thus they were both able to witness the once-in-a-lifetime occurrence of the comet. That is what inspired Kurumi to be a fully fledged magician. Shiny Chariot asked her, I think something to the effect of, do you enjoy magic? Do you like magic? Do you want to learn magic? Something like that. Do you want to become a magician? Some sort of a question like that. I don't remember it exactly. To which Kurumi, of course, answered, hell fucking yeah. If I can, change weather, why the fuck would I not want that? Not in those exact words, of course. To which Shiny Chariot gave her a notebook. A tiny little green notebook, like half the size of this one. Something like, size-wise, probably something like this. And told Kurumi to hold on to it until they meet again, when Kurumi is a fully fledged, good and proper magician. Time skip. Kurumi is now enrolled into an academy whose name I might have noted down, and if not, then I don't remember it. Academy called... some sort of an academy. Some sort of an academy. That is like split into kind of two parts. There is the Ma-gumi, which is the magic school where they teach magic, and then there's the normie academy, for the lack of a better term, where people who do not know enough about magic but still want to learn there because it's a prestigious school go. Kurumi, turns out, is the best of the worst, kind of, sorta. She is literally top of the class. Well, she doesn't belong to a class yet, but she scored like top scores in the normie school, but not quite good enough to go to Ma-gumi, the magical part. Which of course hurts her a lot, because she promised to be a magician, she wants to be a magician, but she wasn't good enough. We then meet her roommate, Maki Kumir, and we also meet a couple of other characters. For example, we meet two brothers, Asuka Kuremaru and Kyo Kuremaru, who are kind of split, where Kyo made it to Ma-gumi. Is it Ma-gumi or is it Ma-gumi? I have to check it. Ma-gumi, yeah. Kyo goes to Ma-gumi, but Asuka did not. According to Kyo, though, Asuka could have gone to Ma-gumi, but elected not to. He failed the test on purpose. Why? We don't know that. But we can suppose that there's one more character who did the same thing, and that is Yuzu Edel, a very Ojo-sama kind of type, very seemingly kind of harsh on herself, harsh on others perhaps as well, kind of cold a little bit, very forthright and straightforward in what she says. Very much the Diana archetype to Kurumi's like clear Ako archetype. I'm gonna be making a lot of comparisons to Little Witch Academia. I'm sorry for that. She supposedly, or we are supposed to maybe believe, that she should also go to Ma-gumi, but she also probably flunked her tests on purpose to not go there. She has a couple of goons with her. I think that was Mikana Fruity and Lemonade Juicy, which are, I mean, damn, that's a lot of like citrusy names, isn't there? Yuzu, Mikana, Lemonade. Yeah. They talk briefly. Was it when they talk? Yeah, they talk briefly with Kurumi, and Yuzu shows her Diana-ness, so to speak, and she kind of straightens Kurumi a little bit, right? She says, this is still a prestigious fucking school. I know people who wanted to get into this school, but they couldn't, and you got here, you're like first place in tests, and you're ungrateful, and you're saying that it's a bad thing. Like, rethink your thinking here. You have something that many people yearn for, so appreciate that shit. Which I like. I would like it if that was their mechanic, their chemistry, right, where Yuzu kind of straightens Kurumi a little bit, right? Brings her into reality, while Kurumi maybe introduces some wonder and whimsy into Yuzu's life. Yuzu very much reads as the kind of a character who maybe did not get into Ma-gumi on purpose to spite her parents, for example. I think it's a safe assumption that that could be the case. Right, then they are all ushered into the grand hall, which isn't really all that grand, really, and separated in classes. One of the classes gets a weird dude with a capybara as their homeroom teacher, and the homeroom teacher of class S1, I believe, which is the class with Kurumi, Yuzu, Maki, and plenty of others, does not have a teacher, because that teacher became unavailable due to unforeseen and mysterious circumstances, and we are left wondering why exactly, and we are left maybe suspecting that maybe the government fell him out of the window. Not quite out of the question, is it? So they are left without a teacher. All the classes are sent to their classrooms, and then they are immediately ushered in front of the school for a big magic show by the Ma-gumi students, like older students, I believe, like further years. And what a show it is. We see fireballs kind of flying around. We see a spectral mole poking its head out of the ground. I think someone creates like a couple of sparkles. You know, not really anything like, you know, big and magical, right? It's not the show of the likes that Shiny Chariot, for example, showed in Little Witch Academia, right? It's not quite what we would expect. Despite that, all of the students are completely fucking dumbstruck by what they're seeing. Holy shit, a fireball, right? And I think this is the expected, not the expected, the desired effect that it was supposed to have on us viewers, that disconnect between what this show is supposed to be and is to the characters versus what we perceive this show as. Because, as we learn, all of those Ma-gumi students, they don't really use magic as we know it so far. Magic as we know it is based on that like fountain pen or staff or wand or whatever, drawing magical circles, saying incantations or whatever, and it's big, punchy, powerful magic. But the students don't do that. They open a Pokédex, they select Fireball number 3, press enter, and Fireball is cast. Which is very limiting. Because it's not even like a spell book in the way where they figure out a spell and they note that spell down in their Pokédex instead of, you know, noting it by hand in goat's blood on human skin parchment in some book, right? It's not a modernization of a personal spellbook, but rather it's a preset set of government-approved spells. The spells that you have there you can use. You are not taught to use anything else. Which again brings us to that possible like government overreach maybe into trying to stifle creativity and use of magic, right? Something along those lines maybe. We see also a mysterious character under the guise of a dog dig up some dark magic or something from underground, maybe dug to a ley line or something like that probably. That dark magic overtakes the fire magic of one of the students and creates a huge fiery dark magic-y dragon. The student cannot cancel that spell, they cannot cast any counter spell. All the students are basically helpless against that, so they run away. Kurumi wants to help, because she's the protagonist, but is stopped thankfully by Maki. Also before that, Kurumi is told by Maki to hide her notebook when Yuzu approaches them, because only the Ma-gumi students are supposed to have one. Kurumi is not a Ma-gumi student and she has one, so we don't know what that would mean. A confiscation at the least, questioning where she got that from, probably safe to assume, so it's best to keep it hidden. They are saved by Minami Sensei, Minami Suzuki, which is a blue-haired tiny girl with a big hat and a frog on that hat, very reminiscent of Shiny Chariot from the from the intro. She also had a frog on her hat and also a big hat, so who knows, maybe the same person, maybe an apprentice, we don't know that. She uses the proper magic, right? She uses a pen that turns into a wand, she draws magical circles, she does a chant, and then blasts the dragon with magic. And this is how magic is supposed to feel, right? It's big, it's punchy, the dragon just bursts into sparkles and colors and whatnot, right? That is what magic is supposed to be, not selecting fireball number 6 on your pin pad and pressing enter and it's a wet fart of a fireball, right? Which again brings me to the government is suppressing magic, or the state is suppressing magic, or the school is suppressing magic, or some sort of an underground cabal is suppressing magic. Someone is doing that clearly. Then everybody is ushered back to classrooms and we meet Kurumi's classmates. Then, or have we met them before? I'm actually not quite sure, but we meet them at some point. And it's a very colorful cast of characters for sure. There's Doc Paparotti, who's a wannabe singer kinda dude. There's Tetsu Railway, who looks like motherfucking Tintin. There is Mike Show, who wants to be some sort of a, I don't know, journalist or something like that. Of course, Yuzu, Mikana Frutti, Lemonade Juicy. Who else is there? Sally Indre, Maki Kumir, of course, and plenty other characters together with Kurumi. They await their homeroom teacher, and lo and behold, who is that teacher if not Minami Sensei? Because of course, who else would it be? She tells them to approach and gives each of them a notebook. Very reminiscent of the notebook that Kurumi has, very reminiscent of the Pokédexes. When everybody gets their notebook, she states what her goal is. I'm gonna make you into magicians. The non-magical class is gonna be made into magicians. Perhaps because they are the only ones who can be made into good and proper magicians. Not tainted, quote-unquote, by the convenience of picking a spell in a Pokédex. They can be taught the proper way of drawing your own magical circles, doing your own incantations, right? At least I think that's what it is. And that's almost where the episode ends, because then we see that mysterious figure under the guise of a dog turn back from the dog form into the form of a pink-haired, more like lilac-haired, I guess, person. I'm unsure whether it's a boy or a girl, and they seem to be very, very like yandere for Kurumi. So that's gonna be interesting where that goes and what's that all even about. And they seem to have an accomplice, maybe, question mark, in the form of a cat. Yeah, that's how it ends. What do I expect from today's episode? I honestly don't know. I mean, we've seen in preview that there's gonna be some sort of a magical tree that's gonna grab them with its tentacles and vines and whatnot, so we're probably gonna fight that. But besides that, I don't know, really, anybody's guess. Are we making friends with Yuzu yet? Maybe, entirely possible. Maybe it's gonna take us a little bit longer over time. It's only scheduled for 12 episodes, so we should probably have a bit of a faster pace. Although we don't know. Oh, and I see Kurumi no Oba-chan among the characters, so that was Kurumi's grandmother, not mother. So, I guess with that, I'm gonna take care of my cat and we're gonna watch the show. Shall we? Okay, my cat can jump up the furniture herself, but she's too afraid to jump down, so had to take her down. Yeah, that's gonna be an intro the length of a full and proper episode, isn't it? Okay, so without further ado, how about we watch this episode, shall we? To do that, you're gonna need your subs, of course, to follow along with me. I'm gonna need my sound to hear what's going on in the show, and I'm gonna have to ask you for support. Support the channel if you want monetarily on Patreon, YouTube down below, or not. Share my content, spread the word, it costs you nothing and helps a lot. And with that, we can start watching Mahonare episode 2 in 3, 2, 1, go. Little did she know, she's a girl who couldn't be magician. Yep. Kurumi Kirakira Gek. What was that at the bottom? A Kurumi's sparkling recap? Kurumi's sparkling memories? Something like that, probably. For how citrusy everybody is, I'm kind of surprised it's an apple and not a lemon, or a yuzu or an orange or something like that. Yeah, there's Mikan with a Mikan. Yeah, that's real magic. Not a wet fart of a fireball. On the left is the teacher of the other class, isn't it? Also, one has to wonder what happened to Kurumi's parents. Hmm? Were they magicians, perchance? I wonder. Okay, we're doing herbology this episode. Yeah, the foodie of their class. Cool chairs, kind of reminiscent of a like a B, hexagonal thing. I forgot the name for it. I would be quiet about that. Oh, well, that's not much whimsy in you, Yuzu. Maybe you are. Right, we can't, we can't insinuate that Yuzu-sama is normal, can we? Okay. Architect? Yeah, basically. Is he wearing like a kilt thing? It's not quite tartan that he's wearing on his belt, but... Growing lemons bigger than your hair puffs. Everybody's doing something creative aren't they? I wonder if that is precisely why they are fit to be magicians. Hmm. I was about to say, I'm glad that nobody tries to ridicule her, but here's Yuzu. Again, national policy. Again, government trying to stifle magic, right? Wait until the end of the season. Or indeed until the end of this episode, I really think. I wonder if Yuzu also wanted to be a magician. And so when she hears someone also having the same desire, she's like, I can't allow them to dream about it because it means that me dropping that dream is, something bad. And as we hear, there's magic to dance. There's probably magic to singing as well. There is magic to, anything they want to do. That's what's going to make them into magicians. Another bit of rules, right? Rules stifling everything. A girl cannot lead the troop. A non-Ma-gumi student cannot be a magician, right? An awful lot of limitation put onto those people. Redrun, yeah, that's the name of the academy. No, she's not just getting her hopes up. I really think she's actually going to be able to turn you. Yeah, exactly. If there's anybody who can make you into magicians, it's going to be her. She can use the true magic. Yep, exactly. They don't know her power. They have never glimpsed the real magic. What's with the notebook? Yep. No, it's not a Pokédex. Have you never opened it? I think this book is gonna be what Shiny Arc was to Akko. Right? Yeah. Go for it. Give it your best shot. And that is Minami Sensei's familiar. Right. That's an interesting looking building. Very mechanical looking brooms. Drones. Oh, it's It's not even a broom. What's your bet? Real magicians can fly actual brooms and they don't need any of that magic technology for it. I mean, everybody is very fruity here, for the lack of a better term. I mean, their names, their looks. Still using the bucket. Yep. If you believe. Do you believe in magic, Yuzu? Pen and paper. Draw a magic circle. Yep. But now they have ChatGPT and stable diffusion. You're not even gonna need paper if what we've seen of magic circles is, you know, true and works. I mean, it is true because we've seen it work, so. Not with this attitude. Right. We're not gonna use that shit. Ah. Gotta love bypassing rules. Exactly. I mean, yeah, using magic, you can like lay rails on your own. You can enhance your voice and project it further with magic. You can make your food more delicious. Sure, you can fly under the roof. You can make your plants grow better. Absolutely. Magic's gonna help you whatever your dream is. Yeah. You're in the minority here, Yuzu. We're gonna make you see the whimsy of magic yet. Can't draw straight lines. I mean, yeah. They didn't really draw any, like, valid magical circle. Just a bunch of random lines. Okay, what is your expectation? Maybe tell them that, so they know what they're supposed to draw. Yeah, I mean, they just are. Yeah. Sure. Technical drawing. Projects. Sure. You want your cake to be round. They are tools. Yeah, okay. Sure. I mean, that's how pyramids were built, right? Sacred geometry? Maybe. Yeah, it's a one-dimensional construct. Well, zero-dimensional. Line is one-dimensional. Mm-hmm. Yep. 2 points make a line. The center and a point on the circumference. Sure, an infinite amount of points makes a circle. Mm-hmm. Right, I mean, a image of a drop of water represents water, right? An image of a fire represents fire. Yeah, there we have it. Basic, like, whatchamacallit? Pictograms, right? Yeah. That's the dark magic dog. Indeed, I concur. Hmm. Then what? Pentagons? We're skipping pentagons. I guess they're really good at their, squares, and we can jump straight to hexagons. I mean, you are in the standard class, so learning geometry is, standard knowledge, isn't it? Until someone makes a valid magical circle, I bet. Hmm. Find the shapes in nature? No. Draw a map. Gotcha. Yeah, sure. Another use of shapes. Denoting coastline, denoting paths, right? Probably a shape. Hmm. The real treasure is the friends we made along the way. uh, I mean, however you're gonna draw a map, you're gonna draw it using shapes. So, lo and behold, everybody has their treasure. Did you draw a map though? No, it's treasure to them. You just don't know what's treasure to you. Lemonade is probably gonna find like a sapling or a really big lemon or something like that. Right. Even if the task is ridiculous, she's gotta be the best at it. Are you lost perchance? Oh, that's a poison swamp looking area. And there's the black magic. Yeah, those are paths of black magic. You're gonna need magic to help them. Come on, Kurumi. Draw a fire symbol. Yeah, that's the symbol of fire. You probably don't need the other elements, but the fire would probably be useful. Why do you want to turn them back to normal? Oh, are we getting a henshin? No, not quite. Mm-hmm. Yeah, the, closed circulation of water in nature, and the drop, and the line symbolizing the falling drop of rain. Okay, so I guess her magic didn't work after all. I fully expected her to succeed. I guess maybe you need, like, all of the elements to counteract dark magic? Right? Like, if this was a house fire, then just water magic would be enough. But because it's dark magic, then you need the combination of other magics, the white magic in total, basically, to counter it, right? Oh, would you look at that? Maybe Asuka wanted to go to standard program precisely to learn this kind of magic. I don't know, Yuzu. You tell me. Element M. Another bunch of weirdos. To be continued. Well, I sure hope so. Would you look at that? Akko broke through Diana's shell thanks to a living tree, like magical tree conundrum. Kurumi seems to have broken through Yuzu's shell at least a little bit thanks to a magical tree conundrum. Did the Whipping Willow in Harry Potter achieve something similar? I'm actually not sure. Probably not. Yep. Sure enough, they're gonna be flying on brooms. Who needs a drone if you can do a pipiru piru piru pipiru pi on a broom and fly with that? I like this song. I really like this song. I mean, you are citrus girls, so fuck did you expect? Okay, well that was a fun episode. I enjoyed it very much. How about we watch it again, shall we? I'm just worried about the pacing a little bit, I mean, it's a 12 episode show. Though I guess, I mean, the story is moving at a decent enough pace, so maybe I shouldn't be worried about that. I mean, we don't know if it's gonna speed up or not. We're only at episode 2, so I can't really tell. But yeah, regardless. Kurumi Kira Kira Gekijo. What does Gekijo mean? Gotta translate that. From Japanese to English. And will it take Gekijo? Theater. Oh, Kurumi's Sparkling Theater, because she's showing us what transpired in the previous episode. Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, basically a recap. I'll make magicians out of every one of you. Indeed. Yeah, I was looking at the chairs looking like a beehive segments, but I don't think it really means anything, so I'm just gonna drop that thought. All the ingredients were specially grown on the Redrun campus. I fully expected them to maybe get like a herbology class or something, and it turns out one of the trees is alive or magical or something, and that's the main like thing in this episode, but not quite. Yeah, Sally's a good cook. Everybody has a dream. Right. Everybody has a very standard dream, quote unquote. Doc Paparotti wants to be an opera singer. Tintin wants to be a railway architect and wants to bring rail to his hometown. This dude with... Is he Scottish? I mean, the like side looks like half a kilt, and then there's this bit of kind of sort of tartan. I don't know. Also, I just noticed. That's cool. Male and female, whatchamacallit, school uniforms look basically the same. Just kind of reversed colors. Yeah. Like, do we get a good look here on Lemonade Juicy, right? The top here is white, the belly area is dark green, and then there's the teal blazer and the yellow ribbon. And the male uniform is the same, except it's green up top, white at the bottom, same kind of blazer, and also the same kind of ribbon that you can apparently wear any way you want. So you can have it draped like a cravat, or you can have like a bow like he does. Cool. You don't often see that from what I can tell, from what I noticed, from what I remember from like other shows of this kind, right? Usually there is a pretty big disparity between boys' uniforms and girls' uniforms, isn't there? Cool. I actually like that. He wants to be a fashionista, apparently. Fruit orchard, of course, dancing. Yeah, everybody has a standard dream except Kurumi. This faith, it really reminds me of someone. I just can't remember who. I have no idea. But she really reminds me of some character, and I don't mean Diana from Little Witch Academia. I've been comparing her to Diana a lot, but someone else entirely, but I can't fucking remember who it is. If she reminds you of someone, then let me know. Maybe she's from some other Mahou Shoujo show, or reminiscent of a character from some other Mahou Shoujo show that I'm like tangentially familiar with. I don't know, I wonder. I don't have to give up on my dream just yet. Yeah, you really don't have to. And just as I was about to say, you know, cool, they're not actually ridiculing her. They maybe even realize that, you know, they were about to destroy her dream and it's not a nice thing to do, right? Like, Yuzu's goons are, you know, not standard goons. They don't laugh at her because of her dream or whatever. Yuzu herself just laughs and ridicules her. I thought higher of you, Yuzu. I gotta say. There's one dream it can never help with. Right, you can't become a magician unless you get into the Ma-gumi. Because it's not legal. Again, rules, right? Ruru and government like limitations and shit like that. It really seems to be the like overarching theme here, right? You can't be a magician until you get into Ma-gumi, and until you get into Ma-gumi, you can't use the notebook, and without the notebook, you can't be a magician. So tough shit. But they didn't take into account that someone knows the old magic. They did not take that into account because the old magic that does not require a Pokédex. Ha! What a way to stick it to the man. Really can't stand girls like her. Oh, you're gonna turn around very quick, my girl. You're gonna be besties in no time. I refuse to let her pull the wool over my eyes. I gotta say, I actually like that Kurumi hasn't like immediately won her over with a whimsical wish to become a magician, right? It somehow feels a little bit more real than if Yuzu was like, I'm sorry, I shouldn't be ridiculing your dream. Maybe we can be magicians after all, or something like that, right? I don't know. It's cool. And I really think that there is something more to Yuzu here. I really think that she maybe wanted to be a magician as well, but was told she cannot be. Yep. That's absolutely what it is. Yuzu also wanted to be a magician, but she gave up that dream. She was actually convinced that in standard program she cannot be a magician. So she gave up. So she let go. And now someone else has the same exact dream that she has. And that's why Yuzu tries to sabotage her dream in a way, because if Kurumi can have this dream and can fulfill it, then what the fuck did I give up my dream for? Right? Why the fuck did I live with so much angst for all this time? What was all that for? If I could have been a magician all this time, right? We can't have that, can we? Kind of way of, crab bucket, kind of sorta, right? Cool. I like it. There is some like, what would be the word to use here? Not unfound, but like still hidden, still buried depth to Yuzu here that I really believe we're gonna uncover over time. Court dancers devoted to the sun god. Interesting. We're doing deities now. Apparently there's a sun god. Polytheism, maybe sun god, moon god, rain god, water god, stuff like that. Or is sun god the one true god? I don't know. We'll see. Interesting. But see, there's also some magic in dancing. Perhaps there are multiple ways to express magic. Perhaps you can dance to bring rain. You can use a water magic circle to bring rain. You can sing a rain song to bring rain, right? You can write a schematic to bring rain, right? All sorts of different ways to do that. All of them expressed through creativity. That's what it's all about, isn't it? Stifled creativity versus creativity unshackled, basically. There's the school of magic, and not just magic, that just, puts all those very rigid rules. You only have so many spells that are pre-approved, you get access to them, you can lose access to them, and you use only them, right? You can't be the leader of a troop if you're a girl. We can't have that. No matter how absolutely fucking amazing you are at dancing, you cannot be the leader of a troop, because that's the ruru here, right? Yeah. And on the other side, we have dance. Don't give a fuck about rules. Dance. Use magic. Don't give a fuck about rules. Use it. You're not limited by the Pokédex. You can draw your own magic circles. Do it. Show your creativity. Draw any shapes you want. right? That's the overarching theme here. Absolutely. It means I can do any kind of dance I want here at the Redrun, right? Possibilities are endless, yeah. Not stifled by the rules, in a way, again. Sure, no need to look for another dream, because she might actually be the real deal. She is the real deal. She might actually be able to make you into a magician. Absolutely. Did she never open this book, I wonder? Like, it's clearly not the Pokédex. And yet she says it's from the Ma-gumi, which would kind of imply that it's the Pokédex, but it's not. I mean, it has the exact same design, but, you know, it has, like, actual paper pages. Someone in the apartment complex is tenderizing some meat, from what I can hear. Someone's gonna have some country fried pork chops for dinner. You promised her you'd become a magician. Yep, exactly. And that's why it was her dream. Maybe she graduated from Ma-gumi at Redrun? Unlikely! Actually unlikely. Because she didn't use a Pokédex. She didn't even have a Pokédex. Well, she had the notebook, but she also, you know, was willing to part with it. So it's not like the notebook was all that useful to her, right? So it's really unlikely that she graduated Ma-gumi, unless she graduated Ma-gumi like 200 years in the past, when magic was running free still and was not being stifled by the government. And yeah, here's the frog, and that's how we know Kurumi is the chosen one. State magicians, again. Conduct yourself as models of upright behavior, right? We have Ruru here, right? We have the, you know, dress code, we have everything. There is a specific posture you have to take on this broom, right? You can't take any other posture, right? It doesn't matter that it just doesn't matter. You could sit crosswise on it or lay down, doesn't fucking make any difference, but you have to, you know, keep a specific posture because that's how you do it. That's the Ruru here. You've all received access to the elementary spell array Flight. Yeah, you get access to it. Access that presumably can be revoked. Right? You're misbehaving, well, we're taking away your flying privileges. Look how everybody flies the exact same way, basically. Left hand on the stick and just flying. And I don't think it's them flying, really. I think it's the machine. I don't think they have the magic to fly without it, or with household items like brooms. Another way they're limited, right? You have to have this, like, drone thingamajig, droney, right? You gotta have this to fly, which makes it very easy to revoke flying privileges, right? You can't make someone unlearn the fly broom spell. You can revoke their privileges of flight, right? Ha! It's all about control. It's all about rules versus creativity and freedom. Absolutely. Random Kiwi, of course. Cool as a Kiwi. Reminds me of... what's the title of that manga? Not Kurumi-chan. There is that manga where a woman working at a black company leaves that company and, like, accidentally hires herself as an assassin, and she very often uses alliteration in, you know, like, cool as a Kiwi, you know, KK, or, you know, stuff like that, but usually with birds and animals, right? Like cute capybara and things like that. Kurumi reminded me of that. Your twin brother soaring through the air, yeah, he's uninterested. You might learn how to fly yourselves. Sure, if you have enough whimsy in you, if you have enough determination. Absolutely. Pen and paper, indeed. Everyone drew their spell erased by hand. Yeah, you can all be magicians if you learn how to draw them too. Unlimited by the government. Become ungovernable. Amazing fate, by the way. That's great. I really enjoy Yuzu's character. We're in the standard program, yeah, but doesn't mean you have to be substandard people. Graduating from the Ma-gumi is a legal requirement to practice magic. Yeah, only if you use a magic notebook. We're not using that shit. We're freehanding spells. We're freehanding magic circles. And she makes a very valid point. Knowing magic makes everything easier. Absolutely, it's gonna help everybody. Project your voice further. Fertilize your fields with magic. Pick your lemons all at once instead of one at a time. Move rails like en masse in tomes with telekinesis, right? Everybody is gonna benefit from using magic. And suddenly everybody is on board. Yeah. Yuzu is in the minority here, absolutely. Practicing drawing, right? Lines, circles. Everybody failed, right? Because you have to draw those figures with purpose, right? You can't just be doing swish, 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 swish. Here, done, right? You have to have some intent behind that. Whether that intent is just to make a pretty shape or a pretty like magic circle or whatever, or is the intent to represent the smell of freshly cut grass or whatever, right? Doesn't matter. But it has to have intent, because lines and shapes are tools and things that people need to live. I like it. You need shapes to build a pyramid. You need shapes to survey farmland. You need shapes to figure out how the circumference of the earth, like ancient Greeks, I believe, did, right? Geometry, indeed. Geo for earth. Metry for measuring. The measure of earth. Exactly. Land surveying, measuring the curvature of the earth, measuring all that stuff based on like shadow length and stuff, right? First, points. Indeed, points exist as zero-dimensional things placed in two-dimensional, well, any dimensional space, really. Lines connect to points. Line is a single-dimensional thing because it has length. Then you have shapes that are two-dimensional because they have length and width, at the least. Then you have volumes that have length, width, and height, right? Then you can have like four-dimensional shapes that also have the dimension of time, for example, right? Points make lines, lines make shapes, shapes make volumes, etc., etc. Circle, yeah. How is a circle defined? Circle is defined as a point, and then an infinite amount of points, all placed in equal distance from the original point. That's, if I'm not mistaken, the like mathematical definition of a circle. You connect those points, you get a circle. Exactly. Points make lines, lines make shapes. With figures, you can represent everything. Exactly. Rain can be represented as lines, soil as trees, fire as flame. And if you master the basics, you can draw any spell array. Yeah, sure. You can draw representation of rain enclosed in representation of light or whatever, and that's the spell that wards off rain. Because the sun shining, the light, wards off water or, you know, whatever. Basically, they're drawing like pictograms. What's the deal with them, I wonder? I wonder if their goal is to maybe like hasten their development in a way, right? Like use dark magic here and there strategically to make them see magic for what it is, to make them believe in magic, to force them to use that magic, right? Kind of like silent helpers, basically. We're drawing lines, then triangles, then squares. Yeah, eventually, I mean, they completely bypassed pentagons. And I mean, pentagons are very important in magic. There's the whole like pentagram thing. So they either were really good and they did squares very early, so the rest of the class was spent drawing pentagrams, or maybe pentagrams are too powerful for them. Pentagons. Ma-gumi students are outflying dronies again. Yeah, and why exactly are you jealous of them? Like, all this time you believed that you are not going to be able to do that. So it's not like, you know, they're learning to fly dronies. Why are we not learning to fly dronies? You can't fly dronies. What's the problem, right? Another great face from Yuzu. Yeah, she has some really like on-point faces in this episode. I love it. While we waste our time on circles, triangles, and squares, the whole Ma-gumi has mastered flying on drones, which is something that you yourself said you're not going to be able to do anyway. So why be jealous of that? Magic notebooks provide spell arrays on command. Yeah, but only the spells that you are provided with. Only the spells that you have the privilege of using. Only the spells that you have access to. What you are learning instead is an infinite amount of spells that you can adjust, create, modify to suit your needs perfectly. And most of all, spells that cannot be taken from you. That's the most important bit here, right? If you lose your magic notebook, you can't use spells. If the government revokes your flying privileges, you cannot fly. If someone steals your magic notebook, you can't use it either, right? The spells that you draw are here, not in the notebook. So even if you're left without anything, you have a patch of sand and a twig. Forget the twig. You have a patch of sand and a finger. You can draw a magic circle in sand and do something, right? Nobody can take it away from you. Become ungovernable. That's absolutely what it is. Yeah, you gotta find the treasure and draw a map. Old signboard, music. Yeah, everybody found something. And immediately, as they found the treasure, right, they are like, hell yeah, I'm gonna draw the map. You know, she's onto something here. But Yuzu lacks that whimsy, right? She doesn't understand why some old musical score might be interested to someone passionate about music. Is Yuzu passionate about anything? She hasn't said. Has she? We know what basically anybody else is passionate about, what anybody else's dreams are, right? Tetsu wants railways. Lemonet wants to build her family orchard, right? What is Yuzu's dream? It was magic, wasn't it? But she lost that dream. She gave it up. That's why she has no goal. That's why she has no passion. That's why she tries to put down other people's passions, right? Passions are stupid. Who needs a passion? Who needs a dream? Dreams are unachievable anyway. She needs to force her to believe that. Force herself to believe that. Because if she doesn't, if she accepts the fact that dreams are a thing, that dreams can drive people, that dreams can become a reality, then why did she give up her own dream? What did she give it up for? An uncomfortable thought. A thought that our brains just automatically reject. It's not necessarily like on Yuzu herself, it's just how we work as human beings, right? But still, there's that competitiveness in her, right? I'll find a treasure. I'll find the best treasure there ever fucking treasured. I'm gonna show her yet. I'm gonna draw the best fucking map with like colors and like land height gradation and fucking everything. I'm gonna show her that I'm the best in the class. The class makes no fucking sense, but I still have to be the best at it. And they fell for a whipping willow kinda sort of thing. Powered by dark magic again. Fire turns water to steam. Right, let's try to create your own magic circle. Why did she go with water exactly? I'm not sure. I really don't know why she went with magic, to be honest with you. With water. Not really. Unless the thought was like, what? When the vines dry up, they contract and they just choke them. So if I provide water to the vines, they're gonna relax and they're gonna be able to escape. Maybe that was the thinking here. Instead of using something destructive like fire, for example, right? The simplest answer here, fire. But fire would also burn Yuzu and her goons, so probably not the best solution. But like precisely thrown sharp stones, for example, might be able to cut the vines. Yeah, I mean, water, I guess, makes sense. Yeah, she already can use some magic, right? She can turn her fountain pen into a wand. That's something already. She could draw the circle. The circle actually appeared, but then broke. Maybe she doesn't have enough strength, maybe she doesn't have enough mana, maybe she's just not ready yet to use big magic. But she still was able to do something, right? And that's already big. And it really seems like the counter to dark magic is the like magic of all elements, the magic of balance, right? All of the elements together, excite, pacify, stabilize, take action, get rid of dark magic, and the vines are calm again. Kind of like with light, right? White light is all of the light wavelengths at the same time. It's a combination of the primary colors, right? Darkness is an absence of light. Maybe the same way, dark magic is like the absence of elements, which brings imbalance, versus casting all elements at once is the like white magic, quote unquote, or light magic that counteracts dark magic completely. Something like that, I think. I'm gonna note it down, why not? All elements combined create light magic that counters dark magic. Yeah? Do you believe now? Do you believe Yuzu? Do you believe Mikan? Do you believe Lemonet? You gotta believe. You have no choice. You've seen it with your own eyes. And he's seen it too, which might be problematic. We don't know what his, like, you know, goals are or what kind of person he is, so who's to say? Lemonet shares room with Mikana, and probably with Yuzu as well, but Yuzu is late, sitting around late at night. Can't believe Miss Suzuki can cast a spell like that. And she drew it by hand, yeah. Everything she said turns out to be true. Could she be the real thing? I don't know, you tell me. And there's a bunch of more weirdos picking up element M. I'm assuming element M is dark magic, for the lack of a better term, and they have M armbands. I'm assuming they're the members of, like, magical research club or something like that. Probably. Like, they're weird enough to be something like that. Look at this twirling. and that's probably their homeroom teacher or their like club counselor. Maybe I really will turn into a magician. Yeah, sure will. I have absolutely no doubt about that. Weird magical doodads. Flying on a broom. There we go. And the capybara guy apparently is going to be teaching about magical circles as well. Perhaps, maybe. Fruits, because of course. And another broom. More shapes, elemental shapes, and capybara owl. And in the next episode, we're gonna be doing more shenanigans. There we go. Alrighty. So, that was episode 2 of Mahonare. And, I mean, shit, I liked it. I really do like this show. It has that perfect balance in my mind of a show that is very like light and fluffy and funny on the surface, right, and colorful and whatnot, but it has enough of those like hidden underlaying undertones to still introduce some degree of tension a little bit, right? Like on the surface, it's just cute girls doing cute things, basically. But every now and then you get a reminder that government approved spells, right? It's illegal to be a mage without finishing Ma-gumi. It's not even that you're not gonna learn to be a mage until you go through a course at Ma-gumi, right? It's not the limitation that only Ma-gumi teaches you magic. No, the limitation is that even if you know magic, even if you can do it, it's illegal for you to use it without a Ma-gumi diploma, right? That's the bit here. And there are like tiny, small tidbits here and there that bring just enough spice, right? Like a cup of cocoa with cream and like whipped cream and marshmallows and bits and pieces of chocolate and stuff like that, and just a pinch of chili, right? Kind of like that. It's warm and cozy and fluffy and sweet, but there's that little bit of a bite here and there, and I very much enjoy that. Reminds me of I can't remember the title of it, but there was a manga, and it also was adapted into an anime about a centaur girl and a bunch of like other animal girls at school that also started in a very, you know, slice of lifey way, but then you have bits like no, Mari-chan, I can't let you ride on my back because you will be sent to the re-education camp. We can't do that. Right? And it just opens the fucking dark underbelly of people being sent to gulags because they dared to pet like a human dog hybrid, and that's something that might be perceived as you know, a bad thing towards that dogs, and you can't have that. And it was a trip. I did not finish reading it because it just went a little bit like too far for me, for my liking. But this show seems to have like the perfect balance here, right? They're not immediately talking like, no, Kurumi-chan, you can't use magic until you finish the Megumi course. If you use magic unlicensed, then you're gonna be executed, right? We're not going with like heavy shit like that, but there's still that little bit of spice, and I like it. I really do. It's the perfect balance here for me. And the cutesy art style and the cutesy animation and the cutesy faces, that cutesy designs, that's just like the little cherry on top, but not just like a candied cherry, a cherry in liquor, right? For that little bit of bite still. I'm enjoying this show so much. For what it is on the surface, and perhaps especially so for what it is under the surface, for how open it is to me theorizing, for how open it is to me trying to figure out the themes that might not be obvious on the surface, right? Like, if you're just watching this show with your mind kind of turned off, you're just watching it as a funny, fluffy Maho Shoujo kind of show to relax to, it works as that. But if you think about it, you see the themes of creativity versus lack of that, rules, stifling rules versus freedom, right? There certainly are themes like that, and I like it very, very, very much. I wonder about the pacing, though. That was my concern a little bit. I mean, we're gonna have to watch more episodes to fully be able to, think of the pacing here. I wasn't sure about most of the episode being just learning geometry, basically, and then at the very end only we get that bit of, things happening, right? But it didn't feel wrong. So I don't really want to say that it's bad pacing or whatever, but, I think something to keep an eye on, because it's still just 12 episodes, and I really don't know how far they're gonna go. Like, this show has the potential to be much longer than that, at least like a double core, and I don't think it would be the full adaptation. Well, we know that it's not like a one-to-one adaptation, so I can't really tell how long it's gonna be. But it kind of strikes me as a show that could use a double core. I don't know, we'll see. Again, it's only episode 2, kind of hard to tell at this point still. Something to keep in mind, though. But yeah, I think that's gonna be it from me for today about this show, but about this episode. But I'm curious, what did you think of this episode? My reaction, my theory, stuff like that. Did you also see the themes that I did? Do you disagree with them? Do you have your own interpretation? I'm very curious about those answers down in the comments below. As always, like this video if you liked it, subscribe to be notified of future videos, not only Mahonare, but also Dan, Mecha Ude, Shangri-La Frontier Season 2, Arifureta Season 3, and plenty others coming in the future. Click the bell to be notified when I go live, because I do go live sometimes. Support the channel if you want monetarily on Patreon, YouTube, membership, super thanks, super chat, stuff like that on Patreon. Just $1 gives you some perks. And if you don't want to spend any money whatsoever, you don't have to. You really don't. Share my content, spread the word. It also helps an awful lot. And with all of that out of the way, that's gonna be it from me for today. So as always, you guys do all the good stuff, and I'm gonna see you in the next one. Cheers! And here's my one for Patreons: QB, Zarena, Yukala, Dr. Watt, Akamasar, Marsh, Fassel, and Hans Peter. And you can join them if you want without having to be imposed by the rule.